So hello and welcome. My name is Imad, and we are looking at question number 2.1. So let's see if my pen is working. Right. Oops, that's not what we want. We want to be there. Okay, so there's a whiteboard, and we are again looking at question number 2.1 in question paper B1. Right. So what do we have over there? Let's see. Well, they give us a sequence. And they tell us the sequence is 4, it is x, and it is 32. Now, they want us, in question 2.1, they want you to calculate the value or values of x if the sequence is 1, arithmetic, and 2, if the sequence, that's 1, and 2, if the sequence is geometric. So let's quickly go back and see what a geometric and arithmetic sequence is. Firstly, an arithmetic sequence is something like 2, 5, 8. So we can see it is defined by a common difference of 3. So we can say over there that the defining property is a constant difference, is d equals 3. Okay, and we can also see that you need to start with something, so a equals 2. Right. Now, let's look further. What do we see over here? And the defining property, how do we get that? How do we know in an arithmetic sequence that the defining property has a constant difference of 3? Well, we say let's take T2, and T2 will look something like this. Over there, this is T1, and this of course will be T3. And every term after the previous term, every subsequent term minus the previous term, so for example 8 minus 5 will give me this 3, and this 5 minus 2 will give me that same 3. So I can get the following: d is equal to 3, which is the same as saying 8 minus 5, which is the same as saying 5 minus 2. Okay, all of those equal to 3. And that's what we mean by the defining property. Okay, so let's go back and let's see. Let's solve this. So I'm going to start over here, and I'm going to say let's answer the question when we are working with an arithmetic sequence. So if it's an arithmetic sequence, the defining property says this term minus this term must equal this term. So again, let's make that T3, make that T2, and make this T1. So what can we do over here? It's going to be T3 minus T2 equals T2 minus T1. And that's going to give us 32 minus x is equal to x minus 4. And what do we get? I can add x to both sides. I'm going to get 2x on this side, and I add positive 4 to both sides, and I'm going to get 36 over there. Therefore, x will equal to 18 by dividing both sides by 2. So I'm just going to list the steps here in the corner. Divide by 2 both sides. Over here, well, I think it's fairly obvious that I'm adding positive 4 to both sides, or as some people would call it, taking 4 over. And on this side, I'm taking the x over, or adding positive x to both sides. So that is the value if x is an arithmetic. If this is an arithmetic sequence, then it is going to be 18. Now let's look at the other side. If it's a geometric sequence, and let's see what a geometric sequence looks like. 2, 6, 18. 2 times 3, I'm going from there to there. I am multiplying by 3, and 6 times 3 will give me 18. So this is an example of a geometric sequence. In a geometric sequence, what we do now is we multiply every term by a constant ratio, and that r, that's not d, that is r, that r is equal to 3. And how do we get that? Well, the ratio, if this is T2, T3, and that is T2, and that is T1, then the ratio is simply T3 divided by T2, which is the same as T2 divided by T1, which is exactly the same as Tn plus 1 divided by Tn. In our particular case, we can say, well, 18 divided by 6 is the same as 6 divided by 2, which is all equal to 3. Okay, and that's the defining property when we talk about geometric sequences, that every subsequent term divided by the preceding term must equal the same ratio. So let's see what we can do over here. In the geometric sequence, we can get the following, right? I'm going to put there 2, that was number 1. So number 2 over here, it's going to be 32 divided by x, which is T3 divided by T2, is equal to x divided by 4. Okay, and now you can take the LCD, which is 4 times x, and multiply everything by 4 times x. I'm going to get 4 multiplied by 32 is equal to x squared. And what will that give me? That will give me 4 times 32 is 128 is equal to x squared. Therefore, x will equal, oops, let's just clean that up. X will equal plus minus the square root of 128. And that you can simplify in third form. That is just going to be plus minus the root of 64 times 2, which is equal to root 64 times root 2. And that is just going to be plus minus 8 root 2. Okay, and that is question 2.1.1 that you should have over there. I'm just going to put it here as 2.1.1. And this one here is 2.1.2. Right, well done.